I listened and watched TV for 3 months and decided I wanted questions answered. And I thought to myself, our country is supposed to be the best, the strongest, has the most sophisticated air defense. What happened? My husband was in the Air Force 4 years and protected our soil, and he died on our soil. I want to know. They turned around and took my wrongful death lawsuit, turned it into a negligence, and put it with the rest of them. I want answers. So I don't feel I'm going to get a true answer because TSA, Transportation of Safety Aviation, Department of Justice, all of them came in and blocked all evidence. That doesn't go because I grew up old-fashioned, tell the truth, no matter if it hurts, no matter who's guilty. One murder, 3,000 murders. We have a right to know what happened. We, to this day, we don't know what happened.
Howard Dean recently seemed to muse aloud whether you had advanced knowledge of 9/11.
Yeah. There's time for politics. And, you know, it's time for politics. And it's an absurd insinuation.
All the evidence leads not in a very nice area. They won't give us any answers. A lot of the families that you're not hearing from are medicated. They tried to trick me, and I wouldn't buy that. I want to be a clear mind, clear thinking. I want to be able to ask questions and get answers. And I'm not getting any answers.
2 years after 9/11, the Republican chairman of the commission investigating the attacks is now saying they could have and should have been prevented. Tom Kane, appointed by President Bush, has told CBS News, quote, "I do not believe it had to happen."
Krista Breitweiser is a 9/11 widow who fought for the creation of the Independent Commission on the 9/11 attacks. Thanks for coming back. The same topic as always. Could this have been prevented? What do you know now, thanks to what Tom Kane had to say?
Well, I mean, I think it doesn't come as a surprise that he stated that 9/11 could have been prevented. I think what is a surprise is that he did, in fact, come out and acknowledge that people should be held accountable. And I think that in order for us to make sure as a country that 9/11 will never happen again, we need to make sure that the individuals who are responsible for the failures are held accountable.
The President has agreed to meet with the 9/11 Commission, a private meeting that the White House is just now preparing to make public. I don't think they have done that yet. The President will meet with the co-chairs of the 9/11 Commission, of course, investigating the deadly attacks on New York and Washington. They had indicated that they wanted testimony, or at least a meeting with both the President and the Vice President. It's not clear yet whether this meeting will be under oath. The White House says they are still working out those details, but as one official said tonight, regardless, the President plans to tell the truth, and this would take the place of any public testimony.
Well, what's amazing is when you stop and consider that everyone that they say was involved in the attack, the Al-Qaeda network, Osama bin Laden, these are creations of our intelligence agencies. In my book, I detail how that Osama bin Laden actually came to the United States back in the 80s and was given arms and ammunition, some training. The Al-Qaeda people, they're called a terrorist network. I think they would be more correctly termed a mercenary, Arab mercenaries. And of course, if you have mercenaries, then they were created initially to fight the Russians in Afghanistan. And but once you have a bunch of mercenaries, then they go and fight whoever you order them to go fight. And I think the idea is that now they're all gone rogue and that they're just doing whatever they want to do. But since they were created and working for the CIA, I think the question has to be asked, could they still be working for the CIA? Could they still be working for the CIA? Could they still be working for the CIA?
I'm very, very concerned that a small group of people who have a different agenda, they believe in power in the hands of a ruling elite, have seized control of the government of the United States. And they intend to use our financial and military power to bring about an empire which will be under their control, creating a ruling elite and, of course, the enslavement of all mankind. I fear for our country when I reflect that we have wicked and evil people in control of our government today surrounding the president. I don't know what the president knows, but I know that these people, and I'm speaking now of members of the project for the new American century have an agenda which is totally contrary to that of our founding fathers and that of the majority of the American people.
I see that you've got this dollar with Osama bin Bush on there.
Yes.
But he's shaved. I don't see his beard.
Yeah, you know, actually, originally I wanted to have just a little mustache, sort of like Hitler, because that's what he reminds me of at this moment in time. I think what we've witnessed is the American Reichstag and the rise of the Fourth Reich here.
I see, for example, the idea of the bigger the lie, you know, that we heard earlier today in the conspiracy convention, that the massive, colossal lies that Bush and his cohorts are promulgating on the American people, or perpetrating on the American people and the world, is so monstrous that it's very much similar to Hitler. And you know, the Reichstag, when he burned the Reichstag, they said, now this is, we are going to have a long war ahead of us. Very much the same with the Twin Towers. And what George Bush said to the American people.
We're concerned about the rise of the Fourth Reich of the rich, the Cassius cartel, because it really isn't communism that's the problem, and it's not capitalism. It's corporate socialism. It's called
fascism.
The Cassius. Well, it's corporate fascism. It's,
transnational fascism, I think.
Absolutely. Well, there's no question about that.
Yeah.
Now, you have 500,000 of these bills printed?
Yeah, we made 500,000. We've incorporated a lot of the secret societies into the bills, and people love them. They just, you know, pass them out like candy. It's so much fun to give money.
I love it, and of course, you can get it. You can write to the website, freeworldalliance.com.
The lady that did this deserves congratulations. I don't know if she's a rightist or a leftist or what.
There's no question that the American Illuminati will attempt to use mandatory vaccinations on every man, woman, and child in this country. In fact, they already purchased 300 million doses of smallpox vaccine to be used. They used to have larger lots of vaccines. Now they're in single doses where they could actually embed a chip in you via these single-dose vaccines. State-mandated laws are forcing our children to have vaccines just to participate in any school program. And right now, through CAPTA, the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, that's in all the states, they are threatening to take away custody of people's children if they do not get these vaccines.
Will they poison our reservoirs? Will their agent provocateurs spread anthrax or some other deadly disease? And then ask us to take vaccinations, which will kill rather than cure us. Taking a look at this city, I think it would be very satanically significant if they sacrificed the city of angels to their Lord Lucifer by dropping a nuke or a biobomb.
I can't imagine what form it might take, perhaps chemical or biological. There could be a detonation of a Hiroshima-type bomb. Yes, I see the possibility of an incident being orchestrated so that the people, the populace will be so frightened that they will be willing to transfer power from the people who are the government to the president, who would become more or less a dictator. And this is, I mean, traditionally and historically, this has happened in many societies. People will often sacrifice individual freedom in order for the feeling of being secure, the false sense of being secure.
The World Trade Center in Oklahoma City begun to bring about legislation that would transfer power from the people to the president and the police.
This is usually always the case. There are people who have a difficult time accepting the notion that their own elected government officials are responsible for creating things like the Oklahoma City bomb or 9/11. If you can't accept that proposition, then you certainly have to concede the idea that once these things happen, then the state power exploits them and uses it to consolidate and expand its own power. That's the whole point of the Patriot Act. It's the whole point is every time after one of these things happens, there's a clamp down by authorities, there's a pulling back of the civil rights and the liberties of Americans.
The Bush administration, is not an administration for this country. It is not for this country. It's all a secret